Okay, so the tank has been drained of fuel. This is the length of hose I'm going to replace. It does have some wear shown on it, though it's flexible. I doubt that this was leaking. It's possible, although I never showed any signs of fuel leaking out, which you would expect with this hose had leaks in it. Nevertheless, it's going to be replaced. The problem is threading it through where they routed it is going to be pain in the buttocks. I've got new hose, completely new clamps and everything. That's when I'm going to string through there. This here. Of course, first thing, I think this is 2 feet, 2 foot long, 24 inch. See if we can not lose the clamps. Let's see, this is SAE, looks like 080210, this is 061900. Yeah, it'll work. This, the inner and outer diameter are the same, although I must say this original hose is a bit more flexible than the replacement, which of course is curled up and is going to cause problems trying to thread it through there, but press on. So, first thing, cut off the length we need. It's going to be the length of the original plus what I cut off, which is left on the carburetor, which is about, let's call it 1/2 inch. So, stretch this out, and we'll cut this off as soon as I find appropriate cutters. Of course I don't have them. I'll just mark it. If I have a mark, where's my mark? Oh, there we go. That's not a mark. Yeah, great. I'll use what I got handy. Don't need that. So, this length plus 1/2 inch, I'm going to mark it 1 inch. These cutters, and I'll trim it more precisely later. That's what's left, which is useful. Sometimes you need little short pieces to keep that. In the meantime, that piece is just about the right length as the old one. Now, fun part, depending upon your definition of about fun. Threading this like through here in the same way it was, but should prove nothing less than interesting. Let's see what we're doing with this. This is going to be interesting, to say the least. I'm thinking maybe feed it through first and then try to grief. also a wire in here that has to do with this headlight that needs to be some way. How did they do that? Secured. Oh, geez, there's no way to do it. I have to push this through. Oh, dang it. Are you kidding me? There has to be a better way. I don't want to take the fuel tank off of this. Actually, it might not be a bad idea. It looks like these two bolts, and then this can lift. I believe it's interesting, these two bolts are threaded into head bolts, which I do not want to mess with if I do not have to. It would be easier with this out of the way. Let's take a look at that. Shall we? Amen. This one. Yeah. Let's see what this does. That's only loosening that bracket. That one too. Very good. Gas tank off. Fuel tank off. These. Just gonna go back in. Like that. Oh, now we can get access. Better access. Get to this. It's interesting how this wire, it comes really close. Not really sure how they had that clamped. Pretty sure where the fuel line should go. Might be some wire ties involved in this. Actually, the pliage. There's some sheet metal in here that kind of clamps the fuel line in place. With what? Let's see if this. Back to the pinch. It's never going to go that way. No doubt. Let's see. Okay, that needs to go through that. It's coming. Oh, good grief. What a honeymoon fit. Lord. Yeah, that's how it were on this bit. Good grief. Holds. This sheet metal here. Got channel locks, but I think this will work to get that through there. Okay. Wire channel around that. Keep it up out of the way. Not touching the flywheel. Not sure about that. I'm going to wire tie that some way. That's just not. Jesus, it's, maybe this is to be. Nope. I'm going to keep it where it is. I can wire tie that. Sure. That's a lot better. That will have to do. Gas tank. Fasteners. Gotta get it lined up correctly. So, somewhat forgiving. And before we tighten that, we have, pardon me. Yep. Right here. Well, I don't like the way they have this wire tied. An awful handy place for a wire tie right there. That's what we're going to do. There may have been one there that fell off. But nevertheless, it's got to be held rigidly. Oh yeah, clamps. The new ones. The old ones, yeah, still use them. Keep them with the old rules. That's why they call these things all dammits. All right. Some of this has to go back. Interesting, there's clearance. Okay, take another look at this recoiler. How is it they keep that hose from contacting the starter motor? I mean, the way it sits, it's directly in contact with it. The gear on the starter. That has to be fixed. I see how to fix it. Yep. How's this? Yeah, forget that for now. Oh, I see what they did. This all just sits. Okay. So it just sneaks in above the housing for the recoil, and that's what keeps it away from the gears. Yep. Okay. And true for the wire and the hose. Now, do have to be careful of that. And I need a little bit more hose. Bend is kind of tight. Let's see how things will line up with the carb on there. Just kind of, oh yeah, plenty of fuel line sticking out to plug onto there. I've got spare clamps. One of them went doing. I will look for it. Not that it matters a whole lot. Nice spares. Yeah. I'm going to leave, I think for now, the recoiler off. Don't need it. I don't need the primer. I can prime it easily on. As I said, there's no air cleaner on these things. You just prime it right in. I'm going to separate these two pieces, clean the carburetor out. I don't know how much detail I'll get into that. I mean, there's a million videos to be had or seen, watched on the details of doing this. I might, but not necessarily. My goal is I just want the thing to run again the way it should. I have pretty good ideas why it's not. It has to do with this. And ethanol in gasoline. Now this does not have, this carburetor does not have a pump in it. It's gravity fed. The only pump action is the vacuum pump on the engine, holding air in itself, which is a fortunate thing. I hate the diaphragm fuel pumps that a lot of the Briggs engines have. They're nothing but trouble, especially when you're talking about this new blend of what they call gasoline. It just destroys them. I'm sure I'll be able to get this to work. It was running. The only thing that seemed to be wrong with it was starved of fuel, whether air leaking in or just clogged jets or something. Easily fixed. I don't expect there to be any trouble with the breather. It's easily checked. With the rest of this, pretty simple stuff. So I'm going to clip this off here and begin work on the actual problem, the carburetor. Although, you know, it might be worthwhile, just for fun. I don't know. It might be worthwhile, just for fun, to turn it over with just a shot of starting fluid. I already know that there's nothing wrong with the ignition system in this thing. At least nothing I'm aware of. It's in the fuel delivery. Well, let me think about that. Let's see. Wire, there we are. Wire ties in here. If I can make sure that the newly installed fuel line will not come in contact with moving parts, which I think I can do fairly easily first. There is the hole in there. I saw it. Oh, there it is. Trying to, pardon me, fish a wire tie to a fairly tight. Need something to reach. Oh, come on, there. All I'm doing is pulling a wire tie through a random hole in a bracket. Just enough to secure the fuel line and this headlamp wire temporarily so that they don't get tangled up. In the flywheel or the starter gear. Oh, the wire tie might, but who cares? Alright. For this, of course, we will need a spark plug. Which I have around here. I bought a new spark plug for this, which I gapped. It's 30 thousandths for this one. This has a Briggs & Stratton logo on it. I highly doubt that Briggs and Stratton had really anything to do with it. It's fortunate I bought this. These are resistor plugs. Both worked. This one did until I dropped it. I dropped this bag. And daggone it if it didn't break the original spark plug. Right at the inside there. There's the resistor. It's just a little slug, probably a carbon composition type of thing. I measured this before I broke it. It measured 15,000 ohms resistance between the terminal at the end and the center electrode. Certainly not out of line. This plug had been working, obviously. Now it's completely useless. But that's what the inside looks like. There's the resistor. And the reason they put that in is for RF interference, radio frequency interference. There are standards for that. This is also a resistor plug, this replacement. I bought it, I think it cost just under $3. It too has a resistor in it. I measured it at 10,000 ohms, 10K. The difference between 15K, 10K is, in this case, absolutely nothing. Doesn't matter. So, without carburetor, with spark plug, which I need to tighten and plug in, and just a little bit of starting fluid. Give it a couple of turns and see if it fires a little bit. None of this is going to matter. Governor might move around a bit. I know where those go. This is the throttle control, which has no meaning at all really here. I'm just going to temporarily wire tie that, just so this doesn't shoot the ground, and this doesn't, fly around. And hold all these things together all at once. The governor might bop about a little bit. Wouldn't be a surprise. This hose isn't in contact at all with any moving parts. There's no fuel in the tank at all. Needs this dry. Tighten out. Not much, just snug for now. And the electrics, that's this. That's where you plug in the line for it to start. I'm just going to let that fly for now. Preferably away from I'll get spraying starter fluid. Let's see. Is this cord? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay, I'm looking for the starting cord for the thing. There it is. It's just long enough to reach. Yes. It is. Okay, so push of this to make a turn. Okay. But there's no gasoline, there's no fuel line hooked up. In fact, there's not even a carburetor on it. Well, we'll see if it pops a little bit. Apparently it does. Nothing wrong with the ignition on this engine. That spark plug's working. I'll leave it in. going to pull it. I want it starting when I don't want it starting. So, really, the only thing we have to do is just to clean the carburetor. Put it all back together. Actually, I'll probably put the recoiler back on, make sure all that's working. I'm not too concerned about the primer. To me, that's really not much more than a gimmick. I don't see any trouble with the line leading to it. So I'm probably just going to leave that alone. I've already snipped off the end of this, so that'll fit nice and securely onto the appropriate barb on the carburetor for that. You know, if that bulb quits working, I just pinch off, close off that barb and drill a hole in the side so I can inject a little squirt of starter fluid. You saw how that does real well. So that's the plan. Nothing wrong with this engine other than the car's gummy cloud something. And even if it had a problem with the fuel line, it's got a new one. I don't see where it's going to cause any grief at all. So we'll cut this off now and get back to it later. Maybe show some details about what I would do with the carburetor. We'll see. Time constraints, you know. See it.